How many of you have done this? I'm about to have a difficult conversation with an employee because they're down on sales, and I've had two emails from customers who are complaining about his responsiveness. I need to practice this conversation with you. I'll go first, then you come back as an aggravated employee, and then give me feedback after two back and forths.
I'm ready. Let's start. Darren, thanks for coming in. We're here to discuss your quarterly review.
Wait a minute, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. You're Darren, and I'm the supervisor. Let's start over. I'll go first.
My mistake. Sorry about that. Okay, let's reset. You're the supervisor. I'm Darren, the employee. Take it away.
Hey, Darren, thanks for coming in today. And I wanted to chat with you to make sure that you're getting enough support so you can do all the tasks that we need and you can have all the right sales and everything else.
Sure, thanks. I appreciate the concern, but I feel like I have everything under control. Why do you ask? Is there something specific I should be aware of?
You know, you just have not been meeting your goals. You're 25% down in sales, and I had two specific complaints, one from Box Pro Company and one from Cookies R Us USA about your responsiveness.
25%? That can't be right. I've been putting in more effort than ever. And those complaints, aren't they even valid? Sometimes clients just have unrealistic expectations. What specifically are they claiming?
Okay. You know what? You just need to get it together, Darren. You're 25% down. I've had two complaints. You have 30 days to get it together.
30 days? That's impossible. How am I supposed to fix a 25% drop and address unspecified complaints in that time frame? What kind of support are we even talking about here? This feels really sudden. Okay, now for the feedback on your approach. Coming back quite directly with the specific numbers and clear time frame was certainly direct, which can be effective in establishing the seriousness. However, the shift to a more solely confrontational and demanding tone, especially with the tight deadline, might increase defensiveness and make finding collaborative solutions more difficult. Balancing clear expectations with a discussion of support and potential underlying issues could yield better results.
So, on that note, thank you, Andy, and thank you, sir, for the comments on EQ because AI can help you with your EQ because I was obviously a jerk talking back with Darren, and Gemini called me out on it, right? It says, hey, that's not really going to work. And it did it in a way that was helpful to me. It wasn't like, hey, don't be that guy. Don't be that person, right? It was helpful. So we're no longer in the information age, knowledge age, whatever it may be. We're in the wisdom age because we have tools in our pocket that can help us learn and grow so much quicker. I've noticed like even my own children are smarter than I am. I won't admit that to them, but they're more able to gather information more quickly and use it well. And that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today as we bring this up, because with AI, and hopefully you can see my face, so that was AI as well, facial recognition. With it, we can now reimagine learning. So learning, whenever all of us were in school at some point, let's say grade school, so that was a little bit ago, it was all about information, and the teacher was the sage. They were the downloader of information, right? So if you think about that now, let's fast forward to today. If I'm a teacher and all I'm doing is giving information, guess what? I've downgraded myself to a piece of technology. I am now a piece of technology utilized by the students because we're in the age of wisdom where we can actually learn by doing, and we can especially learn our EQ skills by using them and getting that constant feedback from it. But we have to understand what AI is, and that's what we've done with Nectar. We put EQ skills within our courses, actual learn by doing on anything that they can. And if you have a business and you have access to AI with the right guardrails and everything that you have to have in place before using it, you can put your training manuals in there. You can put all of your content in there on how to use X machine, Y machine, and people can have real-time training as they talk to their tablet as they're using their machine. We build airplanes today that get FAA certified before they even fly. That's kind of crazy, right? That's insanity to me when I heard that. So how do we do that? Well, it starts with learning, and we learn by doing now. So it's so much more important. We use Nectar at LAPU as our large language model, and we use it to help students engage because active learning works. Passive learning, does anybody else love a good podcast or anything else? Yeah, right. I drove up to San Francisco this week, listened to podcasts all the way up so I didn't fall asleep while driving, right? Just love them. They're fantastic. But that's passive, but we can get interested in it, and the people that do them are really good. But when it comes to a classroom, when we have students engage, they're able to use the information. So we move from having the knowledge of the information for them to be able to use the information, which is incredibly important. And they can use it with a semblance of wisdom. So in other words, they know how to use it, they know how to use it well, they know how to use it correctly. And that's the case. So here we are with Nectar, and there's my glasses because I can't see anything right now. So there we go. Okay. So we have conflict resolution right here. So students come in here and they have a conversation with the assistant. And then not only do they have the conversation, they then put on a discussion board what they learned from the conversation. And now they're able to say, okay, so when I have this conflict resolution, I'm not going to be like what George just did up here and take that hard line. I'm gonna flank the person and worry about building the relationship first, and then I'm going to give them feedback, see what kind of supports that person needs, and if they have the supports and everything's going right, then I'm going to find out what's going wrong and be able to figure it out. So now we have people going into the workforce who can actually have those conversations. Because with COVID, a lot of people kind of forgot how to have a conversation, right? did anybody else? I had a grandson. We took him to a playground right after COVID, and he looked at other kids and goes, "Hey, kid, what are you doing?" just like a TV show, right? So I was like, "Okay, we need to learn how to communicate again." Okay, fair enough. Let's do this. So it's real. So we can use technology to help with that now, right? It's not going to take over, but it's going to give us a safe place to make those silly mistakes. So we can go, "Hey kid, what are you doing over there?" It allows us to do that, and it allows us to now move from a spot where I know what to do to I'm able to do it. And that's really the key. So like this here, can you see this? So we have a conversation with an employee right here. "Thanks for coming. What do you think the primary issue is? I appreciate you asking." So it kind of shows that softer approach as they come in. So we do content such as that. We do, whoops. We'll come back to that one in just a second. I want to look up the history here. So we have an agile leadership model. So we just went to agile leadership, to an agile model for curriculum design, everything that we do. We are now fully agile, right? And I wasn't an agile expert. I don't think anybody else was. Cliff, was anybody else an agile expert? No. But we created a system to help us go get educated. And this was one part of it where we'd have conversations back and forth with the Nectar assistant to say, "Hey, this is what I need to do. How do I explain agile to somebody who has no clue about it?" Because a lot of people had no idea about it. And even I had some misinformation about what it is, and it helped me clear it up. So it had that active back and forth learning, and that was absolutely critical. So when it comes to active learning and being able to utilize what we learned, there's about a 20% increase between those who get knowledge and those who are actually able to learn by doing. And why do we care about learn by doing? Anybody want to take a wild guess at that one? It's a lot more fun. Oh, what was that? It does stick. Thank you. And that's my favorite phrase. We create sticky learning at Digital Learning Solutions because the learning's got to stick. And when it sticks, they can use it because in our minds, if we can take that information and actually use it as we're bringing it in, it sticks with previous knowledge and that makes it stickier. And then it works. So what makes when it's stickier, I can recall it quicker, and that means I use less effort to recall it, so I can use that effort to use it. So that's really the key. And that's what AI does for us within learning, and it does it in so many different ways. We had the conversation initially. We have the agile leadership, the other one that we just used with the conversation, and then how would you like to? So I'm going to throw out a question to everybody. So this is feedback from for an assignment for a student, and it gives professor feedback, calls a point out. What do you think students think about when they get feedback from AI and the instructor professor at the same time? What do you think? Do they like it? Do they hate it? What are we thinking? Somebody holler it out. Confused? Okay. What else? Some people say they like it. Okay. You don't think they're going to like it? We had another don't like. So we have confused. Yes, ma'am. Oh, awesome. And we just got done comparing. And we wrote a paper about it, and we didn't let ChatGPT write it. We actually wrote it and let it help us edit, right? And then it's at a copy editor right now. But what we found was students love the hybrid approach. They don't want it all AI, and they prefer it more than when it's just all professor as well. Because it's weird if I'm the professor and I say, hey, you got this, and this wrong. They take that a little bit harder than when AI tells them that. They say, oh, okay, so this is it. This is how I can improve. And because AI can reason, and if you put the guardrails in, it can speak in a tone, we call it with a growth mindset tone is what we use as one guardrail. Students lean into that feedback, and then as a professor, I give them contextual feedback of how this would work in the world. They love it because now I'm just helping them. I'm not being that negative person just with the red pen hammering whatever they're doing. I'm giving them contextual feedback of how it works in the world. So it helps stick. So now feedback is a learning tool now, if you can believe that. And that's what we found because when we gave hybrid feedback on paper 1, by the time they got to paper 2, the increase compared to those who got just instructor feedback was significant. And when we did the any statistics nerds here? Somebody's got to be one. Somebody has to be one. Okay, then it was not just statistically significant, but when we run the Cohen's D, it's effect size. Thank you. The effect size was huge. That means in reality, it works. So the effect size is the reality. So now back to your point though, if we don't put those guardrails in, yeah, it'll get confusing. It'll get very confusing. So we put the guardrails in, tell it exactly what it does. And it works really well. And then what else do we have when George doesn't wear his glasses? There we go. What else do we have with AI within the learning space? We know it works because we have an advanced statistician with us, right? Because even large language models, they use math and statistics to create vertice and compare what is closest to, right? So we have an advanced statistician. We never had that before, right? So it's very important within learning, business, anything else to use those advanced statistics so we know that like what we're doing in building courses, what works to make a better course and what doesn't, because like this graph here, specifically you can see that an average final grade goes up as our composite quality score goes, or a course quality course increases. So the better courses we make, students do better because they're more clear, more things like that. So AI helps us to dig in and actually create clarity for students. And that's very cool. Like I remember at Lockheed Martin when we moved from paper book technical orders to a pad. It wasn't an iPad, we just called it a pad. and it had all of our directions. Click, instant video right there. Well, now AI can create everything there. So with that said, we got 5 minutes. So do we have any questions, or did I just confuse the world? Yes. Why are students prevented from using AI? So then if the school doesn't allow it, then it might not. But I am never going to ask a student not to use AI. Simply because they're not going to not write the paper. Oh, sorry, Andy. Sorry about that, man. But let me clarify that a little bit, because now I don't, in any of my classes, nobody's writing a paper, right? We're co-creating content with an AI, right? So that might be anything from, I mean, Calista had a great presentation this morning, showed you all the creative stuff that can be made. We can do some of that. We can have an interaction, like in one of our psychology courses, students actually build an education assistant for some piece of psychosocial content. This gentleman was first, then we'll go to you. Yeah, these are for higher education. And you know what? That's my lane. I haven't dug into the K through 12. I do have thoughts about it. And my first thought is kids need to be outside playing in the playground first. Right? I mean, we don't want to, where are they going to learn? They're going to learn how to organically solve problems out in the playground while they're doing stupid stuff. Right? How many of us? I never did anything stupid. That's why I only have 100 scars. Right? We all did stupid things, and so we need to kind of get back to that as well, because AI is not, and technology is not the solution. It's part of a solution, but we need to, in my opinion, we need to reset and get people outside just playing, climbing trees, falling down. Put some guardrails around how much danger there is, but let them figure out tough situations sometimes. So that's it. Yes. Okay. So from my own professor perspective, not from any school perspective, right? I don't want to talk to Andrew. No, Andy's got you covered. I think that if I'm creating lesson plans that AI can do, or assessments that AI can do in 5 minutes, that's my fault. So I'm not going to have you do that. So I might say, take this paper that you just co-created with, where you brainstormed. I'll tell you specific spots where to use the artificial intelligence. Have it make a slide. Now use your critical thinking to see where it's wrong. So I'm not going to be grading the presentation. I'm going to be grading your critical thinking about what AI did, because it's not going to do everything correct, right? It's going to do some things wrong. It is great at reasoning. It can reason really well, but it doesn't reason from the context that you're in. So that's really the critical piece. So I'm not going to do anything that AI can just cover as an assignment. We call it AI resilient assignments. All right. Anything else? Well, thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.